Thank you, Phyllis. That was absolutely beautiful. Welcome. We welcome all of you who have braved this chilly evening to be here tonight. We also welcome all of you who understandably made the decision to stay home and watch this online. And we welcome all of you who will be watching this at any point in the future. Your spirits are here with us tonight. I invite you now to all stand up, and together we say, "We are Unity of Bloomington. We provide inspiration, tools, and practices that support people on their path of spiritual growth. We teach and live unconditional love, universal truth, and abundant life." You may sit down and we'll sing our welcome song.
Maybe we will and maybe we won't. I guess we'll do it with the piano. Something just popped. Sorry.
Lots of energy, too much energy, though.
And now it's time to read the Christmas story. From the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, verses 7 through 20. "And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them at the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and peace on earth, goodwill toward men. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said one to another, Let us now go even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which is come to pass, which the Lord hath made known unto us. And they came with haste, and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in a manger. And when they saw it, they made known abroad the saying which was told them concerning this child. And all they had heard, it wondered at those things which were told them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen as it was told unto them. And after we sing our next song, which is O Christmas Tree, the Reverend Karen Williams, who is my personal favorite reverend, will share a metaphysical interpretation of the holidays.
Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, you stand in verdant beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, you stand in verdant beauty. Your boughs are green in summer's glow, and do not fade in winter's snow. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, you stand in verdant beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, much pleasure doth thou bring me. Oh, Christmas tree, much pleasure doth thou bring me. For every year the Christmas tree brings to us all both joy and glee. Oh, Christmas tree, much pleasure doth thou bring me.
Good evening, everyone. What an absolute joy and delight to have you here. And I know by the end of the service, for some of you, it's almost hitting your bedtime. So I'm really glad you're here. Do you notice that as the years go by, sometimes the time between dinner and bedtime gets a little bit shorter sometimes? And for some of you, though, maybe, you after the service, you go out and you do your holiday shopping. So if that's the case, I just want to remind you that if you're in line, and it's kind of a big line at Walmart, and you're waiting for the cashier, just remember that you didn't have to wait for Mary's water to break before you went out Christmas shopping, okay? It's just such a joy to think about the holiday season. And I want to just talk a little bit about the meaning of, and I'll get to the meaning in a metaphysical way that we like here at Unity, of the meaning of the Christmas tree. But before I do that, let me just say that really we've been on a pathway. And where we are right now on Christmas Eve is we are just waiting to birth the Christ within us, that Christ consciousness. So that's where we're at right now. But really, we start actually our holiday season at Halloween. Because in Halloween is a time when you should be opening up inside of yourself any closets or doors for any of the skeletons that are yet in your life. And those skeletons then are meant to die. That's the falling of the leaves in that time. And then Thanksgiving comes and you look and you say, I'm so grateful for these lessons that I've learned. Not only these lessons that I've learned, but everything else in my life. And then we start the Advent. The Advent is literally a Latin word that means arrival. And we prepare ourselves. And Reverend Nat has done, I thought, a marvelous job helping us on that pathway. And one of the pathways was that of Mary, of devotion, or Joseph, of faith. And then you had the pathway of the wise men, of the mind. Then the pathway of the shepherds, waiting and meditating. And then you had the pathway of the innkeeper, the responsibility or perhaps even lack of responsibility there. And here we are right now on Christmas Eve. We're ready to birth the Christ tomorrow. But I have to let you know, we're still only really in the middle of this journey. Because tomorrow, on Christmas Day, when I speak, I'm going to talk about 12 holy days and nights of Christmas. And those 12 holy days and nights actually start on Christmas Day, and they take us to January 5th, and then on January 6th is the last of the holidays in this season. And that is, it's Epiphany. The Epiphany is sometimes called the Three Kings Day. Maybe if you've ever been to a Three Kings party where they have a cake and they put little plastic baby Jesuses in the cake. And if you get a piece with the baby Jesus in it, that means you get to host the party next year. And what I love, though, is in Mexico, they put a lot of little baby Jesuses in their little crown cake. It's got like crystal fruits and sugar on top. And they put a lot of those little plastic baby Jesuses because if you get a piece with the Jesus, then you get to make the tamales for the holiday coming up in February. So they want a lot of tamales, so they have a lot of baby Jesuses. But you know, when we look at the history of the holidays, they can be meaningful in so many different ways. And on the 12 holy days, I'll start talking about tomorrow, is really when you birth that Christ, it's meant to take you to Epiphany, which another word for that is actually octave. It means like a musical note, an octave higher. And that is that every day is a consciousness of preparing to live a new level into the new year. It's like placing an order for the next year. Wendy and I have actually been very aware of these 12 holy days for about 5 years. We actually take notes. And I have to tell you, we've done pretty good. But this year, actually it was January 4th, okay, the 11th day, one of us wasn't paying very much attention. And we had a small little blow up. And do you know that that would have translated into the month of November, this last month? And do you know it was the most difficult month we've had in 5 years? One is we've never had tires just continually losing pressure to the point where we had to actually replace perfectly good tires. That's one thing that happened. Our trip to Panama was canceled. You know, it takes a great deal of effort to plan a trip. Well, unwinding trips without having financial loss takes a great deal of energy. And Wendy and I have actually, I figured it out in the last 10 years, we've been to almost 20 different countries. So we've traveled a lot. And we decided that after the last trip on our plan, which is now into spring of 2024, we're not traveling. It was enough to say, we're not saying never travel, we're just saying it's time for us not to. And the other thing is we made major financial decisions, even though we'd been on a path all along that significantly changed. So I'm not saying it was a bad month, I'm just saying it really hit us enough to significantly change our life and our direction. But I also have to say, how do you handle it? It's the way that you always do, one day at a time. One day at a time. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. And the reason that I want to bring it up tonight is because we'd love to have you join us, either here in person or online. But it really does give a metaphysical interpretation of those 12 holy days. And those 12 holy days came historically because some of ancients followed a solar calendar and some followed a lunar calendar. And what happened is at the end of the year, the solar calendar marches on, but not the moon with the waxing and the waning doesn't interpret exactly into days. And so you have these like 12 missing days. So behind it is, at that point in those 12 days, is the most intense spiritual attention you can get from the sun. And so that's why it's meant to raise that consciousness. So you live a new level into Epiphany and beyond. Now let's talk about the tree. You look at this tree, it's gorgeous. I know there's different traditions each of you perhaps have for the holidays. For us, we love the lights, the tree. When you look at that tree, and you can really see that there is on top of it an angel, symbolic of a crown chakra in your system, and the trunk of the tree is the same as our spine, and the lights go out from that tree down to the 12 primary meridians of your body, and every light on that tree is literally like an acupuncture point of your body. And where is that fed, all that light in your body? It's fed from that consciousness. Christ consciousness, another word for that is light. And from that crown chakra is the divine presence. And it's flowing through each of us. And we have this light in us. So it's like when you walk in a room, have you felt the vibe or vibration from somebody? A smile, a laugh? Or it could go the other way and not a very happy vibration. But this is what our body is doing all the time. The divine presence is in us. It's lighting us up. And I'm going to come back and talk about the foundation under that tree, our presence. Luke and I was just talking about how excited his kids are that Christmas is coming tomorrow and the presents that are going to be there. Remember that joy as a child? If you were fortunate enough to have these presents under the tree? Well, this presence is also a sense of the divine presence. So after we sing our song, I'll come back and talk about those presents under the tree.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Born a king on Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him again, King forever, ceasing never, o'er us all to reign. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
So I'm going to talk about the presents under the tree. And they really are representative of the divine presence. That's what they are. The presents are the foundation that we have of the presence of the divine in our life. And I brought a little gift, and when you open up this gift, it has one thing in it. It's a mirror. Reminds me of the little boy that told his mother that he wanted to clean mirrors when he grew up. And she said, "Why is that?" He said, "Well, because I can see myself in it. I can see myself doing that." But a mirror, when you pass the mirror test, have you ever done that? Where you had to pass a mirror test? What that means is that, am I living a way that's consistent with my values? Can I pass that mirror test? And in this way, the mirror is really that this divine presence, this light that we are actually have within us as God has created us, has gifts. And the one gift that we start with is peace. Peace is, in fact, rest in the divine presence. It's where the psalmist David says, "Wait for the Lord, and he will strengthen your heart." Wait for the Lord, he will strengthen your heart. That's what rest is. Rest is that point of peace in you that has a harmony and a tranquility. And the co-founder, Charles Fillmore of Unity, said, "Peace is harmony and tranquility derived from an awareness of the Christ consciousness." So it's harmony and tranquility from the light within us. I know that peace means I'm calm. I'm resting in that divine presence. I'm waiting for strength to live my life. The harmony part, if you're at peace, it means you're not at conflict. There's not disagreements. There's a waiting and a peace. The Nordic warriors would hang up a mistletoe when they had peace talks. And what that meant is they hang a mistletoe up, and these Nordic warriors, they'd come in and they'd put and lay their weapons underneath the mistletoe and then have a peace talk. Meaning, we're not going to have any disagreements. There's no conflict. We're going to have peace. Peace is resting in that divine presence. But if you go and you open up another gift of the divine, you will find that that gift is love. Love is the expression of the divine presence within us. Love is where I'm going to pay attention to anyone and everyone I come into contact with, and I'm going to express love. It's not enough just to have that attention. It means I'm going to pay attention, and I'm going to love. And I'm going to love in a way that expresses that divine in me. And because I've rested in peace, it's really a saying for the living, not the dead folks. Because I've rested in peace, I have the strength to express that love. Now, the Course in Miracles says you either are expressing love or you're calling for love. Others are either expressing love or they're calling for love. Meaning, the Course helps you through how do you change your perception and see one as they truly are, their true identity, which is the light and the presence of God. That's love. Some professionals asked children that were 4 to 8 years old what love was. And I wrote down some of the ways that they responded to that. And one was from an 8-year-old, and she said, love was when grandma has arthritis and she can't bend down to do her toenails, so grandpa does it, even though it's hard for him to bend down too. A 4-year-old said, love is you smile when you're tired. And a 6-year-old said, it's the way that mommy says my name. And a 5-year-old said, love is when mommy gets daddy a cup of coffee, but she tastes it before she gives it to him to make sure it tastes good. And my favorite is a story the mother said from a 4-year-old boy, true story, that an elderly neighbor had lost his wife, and he was out on his porch in a chair, and he was crying, the elderly man. And the 4-year-old went over, and the mother knew he was fine, and sat on the elderly gentleman's lap. And eventually that 4-year-old came in, and the mother said, well, what did you say to him? And he said, nothing. She said, you said nothing? And he said, no, I just helped him cry. I just helped him cry. You see, it's in us. It's in us. The divine is in us. The light is in us. It's just waiting to be expressed. And what's the last gift that I'll talk about is joy. Peace is you rest in the divine presence. Love is that you express and remember divine presence and express it. Joy is when you return your attention back to the divine. You see, the joy is at the point where we need to fill up again. And it's the ecstasy and excitement of the divine presence. It's where every cell in your body lights up and it wants to dance. Wendy and I, we went to Syracuse, New York, and we went to a dowsing conference. Does anyone here know what dowsing is? You know, you use a pendulum. You may have heard of the old water dowsers that would find where water is with rods. Well, dowsing is basically a string with a bead on it or some kind of pendulum, and you can douse and gives you some direction. And one of the songs that they sang there was, every little cell in my body is happy, every little cell in my body is fine. I'm so happy I can tell, every little cell in my body is glad or well. So anyway, it was just a song, and it was like, you'd have the whole place. And then pretty soon we'd be singing it in the car, and then we'd pull out our cat's name, Rojo, and every little cell in Rojo's body is happy. And it went on and on and on. You could tell Phyllis is not going to sign us up for the choir anytime soon. But the point is, it's just an ecstasy of every cell, every nerve, every part of my body is electrified and ready to express this excitement. And in the Psalms it says, in your presence is the fullness of joy. Psalm 16:11. It was actually written by David. You know, King David was a master at writing songs. That's what the Psalms are. There's only 150, but he wrote thousands. There's just only 150 of them, and 2 of them his son wrote in the Psalms. But that psalm actually was written at the point when he had this Ark of the Testimony, which some of you may have heard, it's called the Ark of the Covenant, and they were taking it back to Jerusalem because the Philistines had stolen it from him and put it in someplace else. And he was so excited, David was, to do this, that he danced. And it says he just put on a linen clothing that something like the priests would wear for the temple. And he danced and he danced and he danced. And for many, they say it was his wife, which I think may have been a mistake, but it was the first king's daughter, Saul's daughter. And she said to him, what are you doing, half unclothed, dancing around in front of these maiden servants? Who are you? You're the king. You shouldn't be doing this. And his response was, I am so excited and so full of joy in his presence. I'm so full of joy. I'm going to dance. And she was basically telling him, you're a king. It's not politically correct for you to be dancing like this. And he said, I am in the fullness of joy, and I will dance. So, where are we tonight? As we're birthing the Christ, birthing this divine presence, we're resting in the divine. We're remembering the divine and expressing it in love. And then we're returning, filling up again to do what? To once again express love. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I hope that this day, as you birth the Christ, that if it's what you really need is rest and strength, then wait and rest. And that you're able then to express love and give what you're able to give. But always you have to go back to refill again and again and again. And then you'll be dancing every moment through the whole entire holiday season and into the new year. It's a wonderful thing. And I believe we're going to end by saying an affirmation. So together, let's say this. On this holy night, may we be filled with peace, love, and joy, which we send forth to the world. Let's just repeat that again. I think it's such a lovely affirmation. That on this holy night, may we be filled with peace, love, and joy, which we send forth to the world. And tomorrow we actually are going to be raffling off some absolutely beautiful gifts from our very own artist, Joni Spain. So join us tomorrow for that as well. Thank you.
Yay! We're finally to the candle lighting part of the ceremony. Thank you, Karen, for that really interesting talk. A couple of housekeeping things first. Although we're not formally collecting donations, if you feel so moved, there's a vase on the back table that you can put that in on your way out, and we would be grateful. Greeters, could you please come forward to light your candles from the Christ candle. Now, please be sure to hold your candle vertically once it's lit. So before it's lit, you can shove it on over next door to the one that is lit and get your flame, but then keep it vertical, okay? All right. Meditation. For a change, we're going to keep our eyes open. And one more safety tip. If at any time you feel that you need to blow out your candle, just please go ahead and do so. Okay, let's relax and gaze into our candle's flames. This beautiful light symbolizes the divine light within each of us. And unlike the candle which can go out, our divine light never can go out, no matter what else is going on. In the purest sense, it is what we truly are, this divine light. Now, I'd like for you to visualize your divine light in your candle and in your heart center. And feel this divine light magnetizing peace. Feel it drawing peace to you and into you. Feel this peace flowing throughout your body, throughout your mind, embracing your entire being. And feel this peace overflowing out of your body. It cannot be contained. And now we're going to take this peace, this divine light candle peace, and we're going to direct it. So, let's send this peace to everyone participating in this service, both here and online. Peace, peace to our Unity of Bloomington community. Peace. Next, let's send this to everyone in our lives. Peace, peace to our family and friends. Peace. And let's send this peace on this beautiful Christmas Eve to every being on this planet. Be they two-legged or four-legged or whatever. Peace to all of our worldly brothers and sisters. Peace to you. Peace to you all. And finally, peace to every being in the universe. Let's send out peace to absolutely every being in the universe. Peace, peace, peace to all, peace to all. And now, let's very carefully raise our candles as high as you're comfortable doing so. And let's look around. Let's see how absolutely beautiful we all are when we let our divine light shine. We are so beautiful. And now let's very carefully bring our candles back down. And remember that even though these candles can go out, your divine light can never, ever, ever be extinguished. Thank you, and peace be to all of you, and may all of your holidays be blessed. Namaste.
Peace, peace, peace on earth and goodwill to all. This is the time for joy. This is the time for love. Now let us all sing together of peace.
Let's all carefully blow out our candles, taking this love and this divine light with us out into the rest of our Christmas holidays and the whole of the next year. And with that, we say Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Thank you for being here. And Roy will be in the back there waiting to collect your candles when you're ready to move this peace and love out into the world. Thank you.